I'm going to look at a technique that is very simple, very useful, but justifies a little bit of practice before you apply it to your model. I'm going to be looking at dry brushing. Now, dry brushing is the art of applying a small amount of paint to the raised surfaces of a model to highlight the detail. All those lovely rivets, for example, on model locomotives and wagons, don't show up particularly well in a model form, but on real life, because of the way lighting works, they're much more obvious. That's not a problem. We can cheat, we can fool the eye using dry brushing. However, before I work on a model itself, what I'm going to do is I'm going to just do a little bit of test piece to show you what I'm using. Tools are very simple. You want an old brush. This is a Humbrol Coloro. Something fairly large I find works best because you want to cover a fairly big area nice and quickly. I've got some perfectly ordinary Humbrol matte black, and then for my test piece I'm going to use some Slater's embossed brick plasticard. It doesn't have to be plasticard, although I do actually use this technique on buildings. It's really just something that will show up for the camera. Okay, very simply, take your paint and just get a little bit on the lid, because we want to pick it. We want to pick up very small amounts of paint. I'm just going to put a little bit on the lid there. Now, one thing you will need is something to wipe the brush off on before you go anywhere near the model, and I've got a bit of old kitchen towel here, so I'll just pick up some paint on the model, wipe nearly all of it off on the kitchen towel, and then move to the plasticard and gently stroke it over the surface. You want to gently stroke. The less paint that's being pulled off the bristles, the better, because you can always go back over the area with more paint and gradually build up the effect. And you should be able to see there that as I brush on there, the bricks are being highlighted. Okay, and you can see as I work, the effect is being built up quite nicely. So you can see the difference between the bricks and the mortar. And that's it. That's all there is to dry brushing. Next. Okay, right. Now, I've been doing this for many years, so I've got a bit of practice in it, and so you'd hope that I can get a halfway decent job. The only thing you can have that can go wrong, really, with dry brushing is quite simply when you start doing it and this starts to happen. It's all gone in between the bricks, in this case, in where the mortar should be, and the only reason you've done that is because you've not wiped enough paint off the brush. The key is to wipe nearly all the paint off your brush before you start attacking your model. So as you can see, very little coming off that. So what I do is back to the model. You can see that I'm going over it several times, because if I build up the effect, that's what I'm looking for. And I tend to work in different directions as well. But as the paint is pulled off the bristles of the brush, I'll be honest, it's not doing the brush any favours, which is why you're using an old brush, not a new brush on this one. But it's a great use for old brushes. And there we are. Very simply, you can see I've painted the surface of the bricks, and that with a bit of practice, using perhaps a brick red colour, you'll instantly see the results I'm looking for, which is, in this instance, it's just to prove the piece, but I could have done a brick wall in the same way. So there you are. The key is, go and have a go, have a practice, spend a few minutes having a go at this. It will go wrong to start with. Sometimes you will get far too much paint on your brush occasionally. We all do it, even after years of practice, but a little bit of practice there, once you can do something along those lines, the world is your oyster.